Hello guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Muad, and in this video we're going to be talking about variables in JavaScript. So before we get started, here we have I have an extension called Live Server. So let's go to the extensions tab, search for Live Server, and the first one here, and make sure you install it. So this extension will refresh our browser page whenever we make changes to VS Code, and it will make our life easier. So okay, now we will create a new project and put it in the desktop here, and create a new folder and name it variables. Okay, now we have an empty project. We will create an index.html file, and we will create also main.js file. Inside of index.js, let's close this welcome, we will press exclamation mark. So VS Code has this extension called emmet, and it will create a boilerplate for HTML page for us. So hit enter, and now here we go. Now we can write script source with source and /main.js, and save it here, and we right click and open with Live Server. So to split the screen between the browser and the VS Code, now you press the window key and right, then into VS Code, and Windows key and left. So this will split the screen in half. Okay, now if we make any changes right here, h1 for example, and say hi, so this extension Live Server will refresh our browser page whenever we make changes to VS Code. Okay, now inside of main.js, so if you don't have any prior programming knowledge and you don't know what a variable is, you simply can think of variable as a box where you can store values. You can simply think of a variable as a box where you can store values or any type of data. So to define a variable, we use the var keyword followed by the name of the variable x, and assign it to 5 for example, and semicolon. And let's just log console.log the x value here, and go to the browser and hit Ctrl+Shift+J, and this will open up the console. And now okay, here we are seeing 5 being printed. Okay, now we can also store a string inside of this variable. We'll use single quotes and say this is a string. Okay, as you can see here, now we can use single quotes or double quotes, it doesn't really matter. Okay, now we need to know that there are some restrictions in naming variables, so let me paste this in here. So now we have these 3 rules that we should follow in naming our variables. So the first rule is that it should contain only letters or digits or underscore or the $sign. So for example, I can call it x1, and I can use also the underscore x1 underscore x1 and underscore. As you can see here, no errors. And we can also use the $sign, as you can see here, and it's working fine. Okay, the second rule is that it doesn't start with a number. So the variable name can't start with a number. So for example, if I press 1 here, it's on VS Code is instantly showing me an error. So, and the third rule is that we need to avoid reserved keywords. So what are reserved keywords? For example, if I want to name a variable, if I want to give it a name, the name var, so I can't do this because it's a reserved keyword for the language. So var is not allowed as a variable declaration. Okay, Now with these rules in mind, we can define our variable names. Okay, let's make the change back this to x, for example. Okay, now we need to know that JavaScript is a loosely typed language. So what does that mean? So if here in line 4 I didn't tell JavaScript that this x variable is a string. Now JavaScript is smart enough to recognize or detect the type of this variable on its own. So you need to keep in mind that JavaScript is a loosely typed language, and also it's a dynamic language, so I can reassign x to any value. For example, here on line 4 it was a string, and I can reassign it to a number, so that should not be a problem. And log x, or let's just say type of x, before and after type of x, type of x. Okay, here it's showing string, and after I change it, it became a number. So okay, now if you are coming from a strongly typed languages such as C# or Java, this behavior might seem a little bit weird for you, but you will get used to it. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. See you in another one.